What's up YouTube? In this video I'm going to show you how to build this custom torsion differential. The aim of torsion differentials is to overcome the problem of having all of the power being delivered to one of the axles in the standard LEGO differential. So in general, the purpose of a differential is to allow one wheel to travel faster than the other in order to allow for it to go around corners. This isn't possible if the wheels are directly connected, because the one wheel needs to do a different speed to the other, and you can't do that if they are directly connected. A differential allows this to happen, but the issue that you get with a standard differential is that all of the power is delivered to one wheel when the other is stuck. And as you can see here, when one of the wheels is stuck or has some pressure applied to it, all of the power is put through the differential to the other wheel unless you apply some pressure to that other wheel. Otherwise this works fine and there's no issues. So these are the components that you'll need to build this particular torsion differential, otherwise known as a slip diff in most cars. You don't need a huge amount of components, and that's one of the reasons why this particular one is good. So I've got all of the numbers within the description if you want to buy the parts from Bricklink or Brick Owl. But yeah, pretty easy to build this. It's not too tricky. Just follow the instructions on screen. Yeah, it probably goes without saying, but when you're putting in these little cogs, just make sure that you've got one above each of the worm gears, and then also on the lower side they're mirrored exactly. If you don't have one on each, then it's not going to work at all, and you'll have to undo or take the whole thing to bits in order to re-put it back together again. These bits can be a little bit tricky to put on. The main issue is to get them over that little red pin between my thumbnails there. But yeah, if you apply a bit of pressure to it and just get it lined up correctly, they should click nicely into place. So there we have it. That is how to build this torsion device. In the next clip, I'm going to show you a couple of applications for how you can actually use this in one of your builds. Unlike the standard LEGO diffs, These ones require a bigger frame in order to implement them, and obviously they take up a lot more room. And so I've got one of the larger frames here, which is, I think it's a 7x11 frame. But as you can see, you know, if you're building a slightly larger kit, this shouldn't be a problem. And in this example here, you can see that if one of the wheels is stuck on something, it doesn't just deliver all of the power to that wheel, it actually will, after a short amount of time, deliver the power to both wheels, allowing it to essentially get off whatever it's on. And here you can see how that affects when there's pressure applied to one wheel, they will both try and turn. But because they're not directly connected, they can go at different speeds, meaning that you don't have the issue with turning or cornering. So here we've got a slightly different implementation or installation of the torsion differential into a vehicle. It works in pretty much exactly the same way, so it's still being driven by a gear and a motor. This is just a slightly more complex solution where it's got suspension and front steering on the vehicle. But this takes up a little bit less space, so it might be a little bit better depending on the type of build that you want to do. However, it works in the same way, and if we apply pressure to one wheel, it will eventually lock the other wheel, allowing the thing to overcome obstacles. This is probably more relevant for four-wheel drive vehicles, but again, you know, you can implement this any way you want. So here's a little sneak peek at what is to come. We've got another 4 videos to cover in this series, where we'll look at each of these different types of torsion differentials. They're kind of completely different builds. There's advantages and disadvantages to each. And if you watch the next videos in this series, you'll get to see how those are built and how they work. The original design for this came from Brick's Master Builders. I'll put the link in the description to his channel and the video that the original design came from. I've really changed only a couple of things around this, mostly just to do with the pins and connections. But overall, I think it's a good design. It doesn't use an awful lot of parts. It's easy to build. It's lightweight. The biggest issue that I have with it is that it's not got enough room for the stop axles. It becomes too stiff if you implement those, and so consequently you need additional space in order to have something that comes out that actually supports those axles and prevents them from falling out. But other than that, I think this is a really great design. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like or the subscribe button below. Leave me a comment if you've got any questions. And if you're interested in this type of content, check out part 3 in this series where we look at another unique torsion device.